Hello, Facebook people out there. Welcome to Victorian Labor's Facebook Live, coming to you from the campaign office for Claire Burns, Labor's candidate in the upcoming Northcote by-election. My name is Stephen Donnelly. I'm the Assistant Secretary of Victorian Labor and a part of Labor's grassroots movement, the Community Action Network. Tonight is a bit of a special event that we're having for our Labor supporters out there in Facebook world. We're going to interrupt you watching the latest HBO special that you're getting into, or whatever it may be. If you can just have a moment to come and spend a bit of time with us, because tonight we've got a phone bank running here at our Northcote campaign office, which is at 623 High Street in Thornbury. As you can see, this is the front of our campaign office, very, very grassrootsy looking. Tonight what we're going to do is we're going to meet some wonderful people who are the volunteers, the lifeblood of our grassroots movement, the lifeblood of the Community Action Network, Victorian Labor's grassroots organising movement. These are the people that spent hours on the phones and knocking on the doors in the 2014 state election that helped elect the Daniel Andrews Labor government, who have now gone on to do so many wonderful things for the people of Victoria, and will continue to do that going forward. These are the volunteers that played such a big part in last year's tight contest to try and elect Bill Shorten as Prime Minister of Australia, and we'll be back in probably 12 months to make sure that we get Bill over the line in the next federal election. But tonight we are, and in the last 10 weeks, we've been in a real battle in the inner city seat of Northcote. After the sudden and sad passing of Fiona Richardson, a great Labor stalwart and a great member for Northcote. And we've got a by-election now, and Claire Burns, who was a local, has lived here for the last 19 years. She's a speech pathologist, she's a trade unionist, she's a great progressive woman, and she's put her hand up for Labor to represent the people of Northcote in this upcoming by-election. And tonight there's a lot of people making a lot of phone calls on behalf of Claire to ensure that we get Claire over the line on November 18. That is the date of the election. There is 9 days to go in this election campaign, and every conversation that we have with voters now until election day is so vital, because we know that having conversations is the most effective thing that we as volunteers and Labor supporters can do in this campaign to ensure that Labor retains the seat of Northcote. So tonight we're going to go behind the scenes, and we're going to go into our campaign office, and we're going to meet some wonderful people, some wonderful volunteers who have dedicated their time and their energy and their passion to our grassroots movement and to Claire Burns' campaign. And we're going to find out a bit about them and why they got involved, and we might even meet a special guest as well. So come on in to our campaign office. This actually at one stage was I think it was a fish and chip shop or a pizza shop. That's what grassroots organising is about. We don't have flashy offices like you would see in the West Wing. Our campaign is very grassroots, and it's whatever spaces we can get, we'll make calls and run our office. This has been the home of Labor's community here in Northcote for the past 8 or 9 weeks, and it will remain so for the next 9 days. And as we get ready to try and elect Claire Burns as the next member for Northcote. As you can see, we've got the Eureka flag here because the Labor Party is from the Labor movement, and we're very, very proud of our working class roots, and we're very proud of representing working men and women right across Australia, and in particular here in Northcote. Also, Claire Burns is a trade union organiser as well, so it's part of her trade union roots as well that we're here represented. And here is our sign-up sheet. If you want to get involved in any of the things that are happening in this campaign, you are not going to run out of time. There is still, as I said, 9 days to go. You can sign up for phone bank shifts, door knock shifts. We've got nightly phone banks running from 6 p.m. in the evening through to 9 p.m. at night. Every night, Monday to Friday, all the way through till next week, and on election day, we've got nightly door knock shifts going from 5 till 7 at night. And this weekend coming, which is the last weekend before election day, we have a big Do It for Gough day of action, because obviously on Saturday is November 11, which is a dark day in the Labor movement, in which our Labor Prime Minister, Gough Whitlam, was knifed by the Governor General. And who remembers the time when the Greens tried to claim Gough Whitlam was one of theirs? Let's remind them that he wasn't. He actually is a Labor Prime Minister. So we've got a big day of action this Saturday. We've got shifts going from 10 a.m, 12 p.m, and 2 p.m. If you want to get involved, all you need to do is go to thisislabour.org/Claire. give us your details. One of our field organisers will give you a call. Come on down. You're going to meet some wonderful volunteers that are really engaged in this campaign, very, very motivated, Labor people. A lot of them aren't even party members. You don't have to be a member of the Labor Party to get involved in our grassroots movement. All you have to do is share our same values. Our organisers will give you some training, prepare you to go out there and knock on doors or make some calls, and you're going to meet some great people, and you'll get a bit of a feed, maybe even have a beer at the end of it, and then hopefully you've done your part to ensure that we can have a victory, a Labor victory on November 18 for Claire Burns and for Labor. Here are some of our organisers who are busy working away, getting ready for more shifts later on this week. As I said, it was an old pizza joint, so it's a bit of an odd place. But we've got our volunteers here that are making some calls to voters right now. As I said, 9 days to go. Let's meet one of our organisers and let's see if that is impeccable timing. Paige, how are you going?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very, very good. Now, you're one of our volunteers in the Community Action Network and one of our volunteers on this campaign for Claire Burns. Tell us a bit, first of all, what do you do? Are you a student or are you working?
Both. So I'm currently studying at La Trobe University, and I'm also a retail casual as well at a furniture store.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, so very busy.
Very busy. Penalty rates would be really, really important for you, I can imagine.
Oh yeah, I'm actually really proud of my CEO because they've actually decided to keep penalty rates in for the next 2 years, which I'm really lucky because a lot of my friends have had theirs cut.
Yep.
But it hasn't stopped me from coming out and helping with Labor campaigns for penalty rates.
Good on you. Good on you. So let's talk a bit about that. Why did you first get involved in this campaign?
I got involved in this campaign particularly because I knew Claire from alumni women's events that I'd gone to before. I knew that she was passionate about some similar issues that I'm passionate about: education, healthcare. I'm currently studying to be a teacher, so education is definitely something I'm really passionate about.
Yep.
And my parents are both strong Labor supporters as well, so it just made sense to get out there and support the cause.
And come and do some good volunteer work for Claire. And so, how did you get involved? Like, what is it? How do volunteers first get involved in one of these campaigns?
Well, I got a call from Nat, and she asked me to come down because I also met Nat at one of these events as well.
Yep. She's one of the organisers.
Yeah, she's
involved
one of
in
the
this
organisers here. Yeah. And Nat said it'd be great to come down for me to get on the phones and help out, and I also did some door knocking as well, which has been quite fun because you actually get to go out with your friends and do that sometimes.
Yep.
And
what do you prefer? Do you prefer door knocks or phone banks?
Door knocking.
Right. Why is that?
Because you actually get to speak to people face to face. I feel like you can have a better conversation when you can see people's facial expressions.
Yep.
And a lot of the time on the phone, you get a lot of people not answering and things like that, so you don't actually get to talk to as many people.
Yep.
I feel like door knocking is kind of feels you're making more of a difference as well.
Yeah. The weather's getting better now as well.
Yeah, as well. It's good. So I get a bit of vitamin D, which I'm lacking a bit. Yeah.
So I'm a pasty white Irish as well, so you're not wrong. So what's the responses been like on the doors when you've been talking to people?
It's been quite good actually. I've actually spoken to a few people who have been involved in the Labor movement before. A lot of people who are passionate about, have been very willing to tell me about the areas that they care about. Tell me about where their kids go to school and how great it is to see that Claire's come to visit their school. Things like that. So it's been a really positive response. I was door knocking with my friend Shay once, and we were invited into their house for a cup of tea. So that was quite good. We were in there for about half an hour. It was getting dark by the time we left.
They just want to have a bit of a yak.
Yeah, exactly, which is great. I don't think we got through many houses that day, but it was good either way.
Most people are pretty friendly too on the doors, aren't they? I think there's a bit of a misconception that people are sort of grumpy and whatnot, but it's a different experience really, isn't it?
Yeah, no, not at all. I haven't had anyone be rude to me. I've actually had better experiences door knocking than I have had on the phones.
Yep.
So with door knocking, I've had even if somebody doesn't want to speak, they'll be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't want to be rude, but I don't have time right now." And you're like, "Oh, cool, no problem." Move on to the next one. So yeah, people are usually pretty polite, especially since they're seeing you face to face. Not many people are rude to you.
Now, have they fed you tonight? I think the good thing about our phone banks is you always get a beer and you always get a bit of a meal. Have you been fed already?
Yeah, well, I drove here, so I didn't grab a beer, but I did have some pizza. I had some margarita pizza and some garlic bread as well, so that was good.
Very good.
And yeah, we usually have pizza when we come around here anyway, so you know you're going to get fed.
Too easy. Now, we've got a lot more things to do. There's only, I say there's 9 days to go, but it's kind of like this day's almost over, so it's almost like 8 days to go.
Yeah.
And it's really, this is a very, very tight contest. What other things will you be doing in the final 8 days of this campaign to make sure Claire gets over the line?
Well, I'll definitely be talking to all my friends, making sure that they're getting involved, because it is something really critical to get involved in. Like you said, it's quite a tight seat. Also be getting involved in the pre-poll as well, actually standing at the polling station, handing out and speaking to people intending to go vote. I'll also be helping out with more door knocks and phone banks like I'm doing today. And yeah, just getting involved in whatever I can, whatever that asks me to help out with, I'll do, basically.
Good on you. And we greatly appreciate the time and energy that you've given to the campaign thus far. We're almost there. Our goal is to try and have 20,000 contacts in the last 2 weeks. Tonight's been a big night for us on the phones.
Yeah.
So we're getting there, but make sure you sign up for a couple more shifts before you walk out that door tonight.
Of course. Wouldn't miss it.
And I look forward to seeing you on the campaign trail.
Yeah, you too.
Paige, thanks for your time.
You too.
Good on
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, so let's wander through to the other part of this campaign. Yes, Fill the Burns, hashtag Fill the Burns. If you want to get some good photos of whatever volunteers have been doing in this campaign, Claire Burns is hashtag Fill the Burns, and she's doing a great job. She's not actually here tonight because she's at a forum, but most nights we'd find Claire making calls or out there door knocking with our volunteers. She's been a great leader of this campaign, and leading by example. That's one of the values of our grassroots movement: lead, connect and respect. And lead is about leading by example and actually getting your hands dirty and going out there and making calls and knocking on doors and showing our other volunteers that I'm prepared to go and do the work. Those values apply to everyone. It's not just our volunteers and our paid organisers and candidates. We've had lots of politicians from the Labor Party, state and federal, come along and make calls and knock on doors, and they're showing leadership to our volunteers as well. So Claire's been great. So let's just wander through here. This is very sort of Northcote kind of vibe in this phone bank. Let's just squeeze on past down through here. Excuse me. Just under someone's chair. I need some other volunteers. Let's see who else we've got. Who's not on the phone? Abood is not on the phone, so let's have a quick chat to Abood. Mate, how are you?
Good, thanks.
I'm very well. So, tell us how you first, or why have you got involved in this campaign?
I think it's really important that someone as incredible as Claire becomes the member for Northcote. I think it's very important that we have a Labour government in power, and for a Labour government to stay in power so they can continue their incredible achievements in education and transport and infrastructure and health.
What issues are most important to you? What motivated you to get involved in terms of an issue? What was the one that sort of said,
I think definitely education. I think that the Victorian government stepped up against any attacks against education and said, we'll fund it, we'll pay for it, and have given so much to education, single largest contribution in Victorian history, and that's an absolutely incredible thing for them to do.
And why is education personally important to you?
Well, I think without it, I'm a student, I go to Northcote University, I'm in my last year, and I think without education, I would not be able to have any of the opportunities that I will in the future, and I don't think that without education that no one would have the incredible opportunities that we have today.
And so, on this campaign, what have you been doing? What's in terms of your activities or actions that you've been taking on this campaign?
So we've done a number of things. We've done door knocks. We've done a few door knocks, including the Northcote Day of Action, where we went around and knocked on a couple hundred doors. We've also done a large number of phone banks, and we've been to a number of incredible events for the Labour Party, like the Get Out to Vote party with Sam Destiari, which was last week.
That was last Friday night. That was one of the rare moments in the campaign where you can kind of let your hair down, and Sam came down and played some beats for all the volunteers as a bit of a...
Sam, David Feedy and Claire.
Yeah.
Who's like a fantastic DJ. Who knew?
She really is quite a
good
DJ. Yeah. David, not so much. But and then the next day we asked to get back out there and knock on some doors. You didn't have a bit of a headache the next day, did you?
No, I did not.
Didn't feel up too dusty?
No, I did not.
All right, fantastic. And we have only got 9 days to go in this campaign. We've got a big day of action this Saturday. It's the first it's a final Saturday.
Definitely.
What is the message to any of you? What are you doing to try and get Claire over the line for the final?
Well, knocking as many doors as possible, speaking to as many people as possible, finding out what issues are important to them, and convincing them to vote for Labor.
And the easiest way you can get involved in our grassroots campaign is simply by going to thisislabour.org/Claire. Just sign up there, just give us your first name and your surname and your contact number, and one of our field organisers or one of our volunteer leaders will give you a call and invite you along to any of our phone banks or door knocks that are running from now until election day, and on election day as well. We'll be making calls and knocking on doors on election day as well, and you'll get to meet some great people like Abood here, who has been really putting in a big effort over the last 10 weeks. I don't know how many weeks we've been doing this for.
It's been a very long time.
It has been a very long time, but we're almost there.
We're almost there.
And
9 more sleeps.
9 more sleeps, that's right. And it'll be worth it in the end, because Claire's a great candidate. Well, tell us a bit about Claire for those out there who don't know much about Claire.
Claire is someone who's been living in the area for 18 years, so she knows a lot about the area and the issues that matter to her. Claire is also someone who is very much involved in, the local community. She's a speech pathologist, so she knows the concerns of, any education concerns. She's also a very progressive person. She believes a lot in what Labor does and everything it stands for.
And and hopefully she'll be the next member to represent the good people of Northcote in 9 days' time. But we can only get there if you get involved in this campaign. There is nothing else we can do in this campaign except to talk to voters in the Northcote electorate. And to do that, we need to either make calls or knock on doors and do the great things that Abood and Paige are doing this evening. And as I said, there are plenty of shifts that you can sign up for. We've got nightly phone banks, Monday to Friday, all the way through to election day, 6 till 9 p.m. Nightly door knocks from 5 till 7, and on the weekends we have a big weekend of action where we have door knock shifts going from 10 a.m, 12 p.m, and 2 p.m. by Saturday and Sunday. So if you want to get involved, go to thisislabour.org/Claire. Right, now we have one more person to meet before we wrap up tonight's Facebook Live, and there's one particular bloke that's popped in tonight to make a couple of calls. Premier Daniel Andrews, how are you?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm very well. Now, you've spent a bit of time up in Northcote over the duration of this campaign. What is at stake for the people of Northcote in this election?
Well, I think the people of Northcote can have someone who's a strong voice for the things that matter most to them. So someone who lives their values, someone who works hard, someone who can be part of a team that actually delivers things. Or they can have a commentator who sits on the sidelines and can achieve absolutely nothing. That's really what's at stake here. It's a really important choice. And look, Claire is someone who has integrity. She's got an authenticity about her. She's running on a platform of making renting fair, and she knows why that's important. She rents herself. She lives in this local community. She's passionate about being this community's voice to get things done, not to sit on the sidelines and say all the right things and be brilliantly ineffective. She wants to get things done, and so far she's running a great campaign, and I've just been ringing a few volunteers and people who've been door knocking and making lots and lots of calls for us, and there's a real energy about this campaign, and you don't get that unless you've got a candidate who stands for positive, practical things, and someone who has that authenticity about her, and that's exactly what Claire offers. Someone who can continue, can I say, in very tragic circumstances, she can continue the work that Fiona Richardson was so well known for and so universally respected for.
And you spoke about you having talking to some of our super volunteers tonight, giving them a call and thanking them for the work that they've done.
The first challenge is to convince them that it is actually me, not somebody else. But that's good. Once we get past that, they're all very pleased to. They're very pleased to know that the work they're doing is important and it's valued, and just to say thanks often means a lot.
It certainly does. And how important are the volunteers in our grassroots movement, the Community Action Network?
Look, we've got a week to go, and that's a lot of phone calls that can be made, doors that can be knocked on, all sorts of different tasks. And you've got to chase the last vote as hard as you possibly can. You leave nothing to chance. You work until 6 o'clock Saturday week. That's a really important part of any effective campaign. You don't win unless you work hard. Just like you don't get things done in a community unless you're part of a team and part of a government. A government that's true to its values, a Labor government that's proud to say that and proud to have policies and plans that are positive, and they're about working people. They're about making sure that this is the progressive capital of our nation, that good ideas and good work gets done here. And whether it's making renting fair, allowing renters to make the place they live in their home, all the way through to allowing first-home buyers to get into the market, investing in schools and hospitals, continuing Fiona Richardson's legacy around keeping women and children safe, a whole range of different positive plans. And I just know that Claire Burns, if she gets the opportunity, will be an outstanding member, not just someone who can stand up for Northcote, but someone I think's got a big future in the state parliament to play a key role in years to come. And that's the sort of heritage that Northcote has had.
And deserves.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So we have 9 days to go in this campaign. Even the Premier's come down to make some calls. This is how crucial this election is for Labor and for Claire Burns. And if you want to get involved in this campaign, then we need you to sign up at thisislabour.org/Claire. Come and make some calls like Dan has done tonight, or come and knock on doors. As I said before, we've got a big weekend of action coming up. We've got Elbows coming down next Tuesday night for a huge big phone bank. There's events going on all the time. You'll get training. You'll get all the support from our field organisers and our volunteer leaders. And every conversation that we can have with voters in the final 9 days of this campaign will be the difference between winning and losing, and ensuring that the things that the Daniel Andrews government have been doing can continue to do that going forward. Daniel, thanks for coming down today. We appreciate that. And thank you to everyone who has made calls and knocked on doors in this campaign so far. This is a grassroots movement built by Labor people, and we'll continue to do that in the coming 9 days. So go to thisislabour.org/Claire, and we look forward to seeing you sign up for a shift in the final 9 days.